Well, thank you everyone again for joining us today, November 19th, 2020. It is the first Women's Entrepreneurship Day Rhode Island celebration, and we're all here virtually today. We're just about to kick off our second panel of the day on women entrepreneurs succeeding at every stage. And this panel will be moderated by Mike Ritz, who is Director of Leadership Rhode Island. Mike, please take over the panel.
Great. Thanks, Janice. Good to see everybody, at least as much as I can see you. I see the panelists, though. Hey there. Let me do a quick introduction of each panelist, and then we're going to get right into it because we've got a short time frame here, okay? First, we have Adriana Dawson, Director of Community Engagement at Verizon, and also, and a big reason she's here today, she's the owner of PreLoved Posh, and she's going to tell us about that. Just opened up 6 weeks ago, if you can imagine. Cortney Nicolato, who is the president and CEO of United Way of Rhode Island, also happens to be a Leadership Rhode Island alumna of 2019, and has been involved with Dallas's Innovation Lab and done some mentorship around small business. So welcome, Cortney. Geraldine Barclay-King, also known as Geri, is the owner of Leave It to Geri and Bluffing Boutique. She's the head Bluffa Joe, I read, and she'll tell us what that means. Good to see you, Geri. And then last but certainly not least is Jennifer Luxmoore, owner of Sin, also a 2010 graduate of Leadership Rhode Island. I have to always throw those in there. And I actually think I'm going to start with you, Jen, with the first question, because I think on this panel, from an entrepreneur standpoint, you're probably the only person that actually has that physical building, and that physical building is part of your business. And so in these COVID times, that presents a number of challenges. So I wanted to ask you, as being a business owner for quite some time, how are you coping and pivoting in this moment with that physical building? And if you don't know Sin, where's your sweet tooth? Because let me tell you, that stuff is good. I'm down there all the time. So on Westminster Street in Providence. So Jen, how you coping? What's going on here?
So we actually never closed. We closed for about a day. And during that time, I did a quick online kind of app and got some online ordering going. Luckily, we own the building, so I didn't have to deal with landlords and worrying about that. And the banks were really great about deferring some payments and everything like that. I mean, everything is just different. Where, our retail used to be, a huge portion, retail incredibly shrunk. And then also weddings, which we do a lot of, has incredibly shrunk. So what we're doing is I've spent the summer making some new recipes, and we're working on trying to do some online shipping ordering. Finding some bars and some cereal bars and some brownies and getting packaging and getting boxes and labels and working on all that to get a new section of business up and running for next year so we can get a different source of income.
Yeah, that's great. And how's that going so far in terms of, you've always done a little mail order sort of business, right?
No, we've done mainly local delivery. So you can call and we'll take a 6-pack of cupcakes, to the other side of town for a nephew or whatever. But we haven't done a lot of mailing. Cakes don't really ship well. So I really kind of focused in on stuff that would ship and developed a new line and just trying to work on getting that. It's taking longer than I expected. Kind of like, I'll just ship stuff. And apparently you don't just ship stuff.
Amazon seems to be doing a pretty good job. Yeah, I hear you. So yesterday I was with a gentleman who was talking about business building, and he defined entrepreneurship and business building as creating customer energy where it doesn't exist. Creating customer energy where it doesn't exist. I thought it was interesting. And then I talked to Adriana, and she's like, well, kind of, sort of. I actually found there's all this customer energy, and I've tapped it. What's going on there, Adriana? 6 weeks ago, you opened.
That's right. And I am so excited to be here with you, Mike, and the rest of these fabulous ladies. And to the community of other folks joining us, hello. So PreLoved Posh launched about 6 weeks ago. And it's been an amazing time. I've been working hand in hand with my business partner, who's also connected on here. So shout out to Esther. But yeah, we opened during COVID. what the hell were we thinking, right? But at the end of the day, what we realized is that there was a gap. As hardworking women who deserve a little bit of luxury every once in a while, we just recognized that there was something missing for flavorful women, women of color, women in general who are looking for a...
So what I was saying about flavorful women and just women in general, it's the idea that we have access to a little bit of luxury because we deserve it. Authentic, affordable luxury. And the fact that we're home, we have more time with the ability to connect and navigate online. We're not sort of as social as we are externally. I just know that there are a lot more eyes, on the internet and on social media. So we identified this amazing opportunity, and having been on the other side, assisting small businesses for 15 years and being a mentor and an advocate for other businesses, this is the first time for me being on this end. So taking all of that business acumen, sort of spinning it and pivoting it and taking my own advice and activating sort of the power of luxury. As you can see behind me, we just decided to go for it. What's the worst that can happen, right? That we allow other women the ability to kind of execute their swag however they want to execute. So we just decided to dive head first, and 6 weeks later, sort of numbers and followers that were completely unexpected.
Yeah, this entrepreneurship thing takes some guts, takes some grit, takes some ability to see opportunity, takes some determination, no doubt. So your entire business is on Instagram, right, Adriana?
That's right. Our cute little boutique that features all of these luxurious, authentic design house, pieces, it's online. So we don't have the overhead. We don't have some of the other costs that would need to be factored into our price point. That's why we're stepping into a market that has such a huge appetite for these items at a price point that's unbelievable, which is why our merchandise is flying off the shelves as quickly as they are. And we're also, again, it's about customer engagement. And it's activating in a way and looking at things differently to engage an audience of men and women out there, and doing that virtually. Being budget conscious about how that's done, thinking creatively about the platform and the use of social media and technology, and asking followers to give you feedback. What do you want from us as a brand? How do you want to see us? How do you want us to be present? How do you want us to engage? So all of that has been taken into account in the last 6 weeks and moving forward.
Perfect. So Adriana, you mentioned mentorship, and you have been that mentor for quite a lot of others, and now you're in the space of doing the work. And Cortney has been a mentor too, and now is in the stage of running a significant nonprofit in Rhode Island, and she's not shy in how she does it. She's making change, and she moves boldly. There's this whole COVID fund. I wanted to ask you, sidebar, if that pertains to small business at all, since there are small businesses challenged by this. But a little bit of your experience in mentoring others, Cortney, and then how that may play a role here in your job at United Way.
Yeah, and can you hear me okay? Because I've been having problems. Perfect. So thanks for the opportunity to be here. It's always nice to be with these lovely ladies. I just had a pumpkin spice latte yesterday, Jen, that was to die for, and brought back to my team some peanut butter brownies. So we can't begin to tell you how much we adore Sin and everything that you do. Folks may not know, in 2010, joined a number of partners in creating a startup company called Get Real Health. And it's a health technology firm, which has since been sold to an electronic health record vendor. I had been long in the technology and healthcare space, working for nonprofit organizations, but as we were building strategies in health IT, and had the opportunity to go join 3 individuals to build this product. And since it now is in 7 different countries and in millions of patient lives throughout the world. And so it was a gift to build that and go through the venture process and all of that fun stuff. And so when I went back into the nonprofit world, I didn't want to leave the mentorship and support that I had received as a startup company and as an entrepreneur. And so had the opportunity to go serve as a mentor for the Dallas Health Wildcatters, which is actually a national health incubator and accelerator organization. And then now I serve and support Social Enterprise Greenhouse here in Rhode Island. And so that is, and I will often say that running a nonprofit organization isn't too far off from running a startup company. You're running a small business, you are, moving and shaking and iterating and innovating everywhere you go and every step that you make. And if you're not doing that, then you're not meeting the needs of the nonprofit community and of the community at large. And so I feel like I use my startup skills literally every day in my work. And it is a pleasure to be able to work with companies who are doing so many good things, and the ideas and the things that I've gotten to be partners with along the journey now, to see them in national commercials and things like that is pretty stellar. You're asked, Mike, about specifically how we're supporting small businesses through COVID. And I wanted to share a little bit on that. We've been a great partner with Commerce Rhode Island in getting a number of grants out to women and minority-owned businesses, to small businesses, to small nonprofits. So everything from partnering with the Social Enterprise Greenhouse on deploying laptops and hardware and software to small businesses. We're working very closely right now, or have been, around the payroll protection program and helping folks complete those very lengthy forms to make that happen. And so there's a number of different ways that United Way is supporting our women and minority-owned businesses today. And we're really proud of what we've done through COVID.
That's great, Cortney. One of the things I've been paying a lot of attention to in this new environment, and where people expect this virtual environment to go, is this idea that you can work wherever you want. When we're in virtual now, there are going to be people that are executives of major companies that they can put their home wherever they want it to be. And one of the great things that has brought me to Providence and kept me in Providence and in Rhode Island in general is this idea that we have this rich fabric here of incredible small businesses, independence, and so much flavor. I think Adriana was talking about. It's all about it. And let me tell you, you get the scoop here at Women's Entrepreneurship Day, because there's a new business opening tomorrow. The launch is with Geri. And Geri, what the heck is going on? Because talk about taking a place and being creative and doing what you've been doing, but taking it to a whole nother level to make all of us look better. And it's personal, right, Geri?
It is. Hello, everybody. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story on this platform. My background is in event planning, style and design, and hospitality. So, of course, as Jen, you can relate, the event world is kind of like dwindling. You have to kind of get creative. So with me going back to my hometown of Liberia, Monrovia, within the last 2 years, it was a personal journey for me to embrace my heritage and my culture, and just to see where my parents were and where we are right now. So using my culture and my background, it was a time for me, meaning to get creative. So I took the fashion and used that as a platform for folks to have a voice. Decor is also embedded in, for those who are looking for a way to include their culture. So for me, on my end, it's more of the African. I was away from Liberia for 38 years. When I went back, it was a huge culture shock, very emotional, and wanting to kind of play catch up for 38 years. I'm bringing all these things and making sure I'm doing some more history. And now my basement was full with a lot of things. And with that being said, I needed to get rid of it around the holidays. So they're all new items. My husband was looking at me like, listen, you need to get this stuff out. So with me being home with the boys for distant learning, it allowed me the opportunity to share my culture, my story, my venture with those who have limited access. So NeighborWorks Blackstone River Valley took the leap and said, hey, we'll give you the space. Hey, whatever you need, what type of resources, we're going to be there for you to make sure you get this information out. You provide access to those who may not have access. There's a long history of, the slaves and not identity. So with the BLM happening movement, I found a lot of folks within the community, Rhode Island community, were asking, for items that I personally had or wore and wanted to find out where they could get it. And because I had inventory, I'm making that available to them during this time. The other piece too, in Liberia with the poverty, and also for single moms in the US, you got the Mahawas, you got the Mafatus who have to make ends meet. And they are not the one who are able to market their products. So with me having that opportunity, it's for me to say, okay, I may not be a seamstress, I may not do this, but let me help you tell your story through your arts and crafts and anything of that nature, because you're trying to get your hustle on to provide for your family. So with me being a single mom at one point, I had to get my hustle on, so I can relate highly about having your regular 9 to 5 and then also having that extra to provide for your family. So that's my personal journey on the short version of it, but it's creating a platform for anyone who want to brand their products, embrace their culture, illuminate their culture, celebrate a holiday, whatever the case may be. But I'm here to bring more of the ethnic piece to the Blackstone Valley.
Yeah, and I imagine, once we're able to get in that room together again and love one another again in person, don't get crazy with it, but we are a strong community here in Rhode Island. Once we're able to do that, I remember when I first met you, Geri, it was at Higher Ground International's fundraiser.
Okay.
And that place was decked out. It was uniquely decked out with a menu to match. I IMC'd that for a couple of years, and I look forward to it every year, and it was completely unique. Totally unique, with every fine detail noticeable. It was really impressive. Jen, so we're going to run out of time soon, so I'm going to free flow this a little bit, but I'm going to throw this at Jen first because she's been doing this for a minute. How long have you been, how long's Sin been here?
14 years.
Whoa, moly. So a little bit longer than I even thought it was. So 14 years. You probably have learned a couple things. So for those thinking about maybe starting a business, or for those just starting out, what kind of lesson do you have for them? And then my second question, because someone said, please ask this, why start this in Rhode Island?
Well, second question, I live here.
It's always a good, easy one, right? It's very accessible.
Yeah, I wasn't going to start it somewhere else. And the first question, what have I learned? I have learned that no matter what the business is, whether it's baking, retail, as a small business owner, you are not just a baker. You are not just someone who sells purses. You are not just someone who is decorating. You are an advertiser. You are bookkeeping. You are a repair person. I know how to clean and repair the grease trap. I don't want to know that. I know how to change the air filters. I don't want to do that. But as a small business person, every single aspect of your business, you need to know how to do, or you need to learn how to do it. You are not just the thing that you're doing. You are everything.
Everything. Yeah. Now, I think probably everybody here gets a little excited about that idea, actually. And I know Adriana does. But Adriana, when there's something you don't know, when you're like, well, is there a system, a place you go? How do you figure out the answers you don't know? Because one of the things we hear is it's hard. You're going to know a lot about a lot, and not all of us can know all this stuff. Where the heck do you go for this information? How do you figure it out?
Mike, how did you know? That answer was so for me. You know what I do? I figure it out. I just figure it out. And I love when I have my aha moments and I realize what I don't know. Because when I come to that realization, I become laser beam focused on that, and I make damn sure I figure it out. Because to Jen's point, as a CEO, the chief of everything, you know, you're hit with capacity issues, you're hit with other issues, and if you don't have the budget at this point to get a consultant to assist you with your marketing, your whatever it is, you become that person, you absorb that role, right? And so the other thing I would add is add your personality to your business model. Don't copy or don't do what everyone else is doing because you think that's the flavor of the day. Add you to your business. Let people know who you are, because people will buy from people they like. And then I will end with why in Rhode Island. I live here, my family's here, I invest my time, energy, and effort here, and this is where we're going to be, because we're bringing Posh to Rhode Island, baby. Thank you, Mike.
That's great. So Rhode Island, kind of a special place, Cortney. You're doing a lot to try to make it so. Get us through this tough time that we're in. Leave us with some optimistic things that are going on that would convince all of us, if we've got a business, keep on trucking forward, keep on moving forward. There are winners and losers in every environment, no doubt, right? Mm-hmm. And so what can we expect coming down the road next year, you think?
You know, I think we have to start by just recognizing we have so much to be proud of right now, right? You know, I have watched over the last 9 months our nonprofit community step up, the resiliency of our small businesses. I have watched people helping people, neighbors supporting one another. I have watched love and kindness and passion for this community ring true, even in the worst of times. And that's why I came home. That's why I'm here to serve the community. That's why my mom has always told me to leave something better than I found it, is because Rhode Island deserves that. And I think through this pandemic, through these challenges, that's what I have seen.
Yeah, I've been talking to people from different states all summer long, and I'm constantly surprised by how we have this tight-knit community that others seem to lack, or at least that's what they tell me.
Yeah,
and we help each other and look out for each other.
Right, and I spent 13 years in the Dallas, Texas area. I've seen, you know, exactly that. I've seen a tight-knit community, but it's not like this. It's different here. And, you know, when I came back, there was this love right away. People were like, you're welcome in because you're from Rhode Island, right? And so like, there's just there's this connection. But, you know, what I see for the future, to answer your question, Mike, is I see continued supporting one another, continued love. I see a continued focus on, you know, breaking the barriers to systemic injustices and racial inequities. I see people coming together for the greater good of the community. I know that there'll be challenges along that journey, but I'm also believing that we will continue to see the good in people. And that's what our community needs. That's what our small businesses need. You know, make sure you get, you know, you order in, make sure you continue to support make sure you shop local all holiday season long. Because that's what we can do to contribute right now. And that's what we need to continue to do even after this pandemic is left us.
Yeah. Geri's got your gifts. Adriana's got your gifts. Jen's got to fill you up and celebrate the small, safe gathering that you have with some cakes, pies, and so forth. But Geri, you're launching tomorrow. We're a big community. How do we help you in that launch? How do we support you? How do we drive this thing like boom? How's that happen?
Spread the word and let everybody know that they can come and bluff in the Blackstone Valley. I'm just a Black girl in the Blackstone Valley wanting to bring some bluffing. So please shop local, online. I also have an e-commerce, so you can shop online if you're like, listen, I don't mind supporting, but I can't come to your store. No problem. Leave it to Geri. You can shop online. Tomorrow's up the grand opening and the ribbon cutting, just to get the formality. So please shop bluffingboutique.com or visit Geri's Bluffing Boutique.
You heard it.
In
We got some
Woonsocket.
stuff in the chat. We're filling up that chat, and we're going to break away now and do a little bit of networking at our tables. Thank you all for sharing your experience, your energy, and I'm hoping some other people are going to come up to you with the tough questions. You know, the really tough ones, and you'll inspire them. All right, we'll see you later.
Bye, Cortney. Bye, Adriana. Bye.